Hello there, friends, and welcome to the behind the scenes sneak peek of the recording of the Self-Employed Life podcast. So, this is where you get to see the raw, unedited version before it comes out as a podcast in 6 to 8 weeks. So, really excited. So, let's do this. You may not realize that in 2020, when the PPP loans were announced in the US to save businesses and save people's lives, it was the first time in US history that self employed was called out in a piece of US legislation. Why? Because we matter. Because the government recognized our significant impact on the economy, that without us, the country's economy could tank. There are many subsets of being self employed, and one of them having a huge impact on our economy and the US lifestyle is mompreneurs. We're joined today by two mompreneurs who have built a digital marketing agency in support of mompreneurs. Dwayna Williams and Donna Morris are founders of TG&D Consulting, an agency providing public relations, brand imaging, and strategy to moms and lifestyle brands. TG&D's mission is to guide and build brand awareness through fresh and innovative publicity, digital platforms, and style guides. Welcome, ladies.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
I am so excited to have this conversation, and I emailed back to Dwayna when she sent in the pitch. I said, "Congratulations to you," because I kind of look at all the pitches that come in, but it's like one in a couple hundred that actually get chosen. So your pitch, your point, it wasn't even a pitch. It was the point you were making in support of mompreneurs that was so powerful that kudos to you, because you broke through the wall of sending in a good idea, and we're thrilled to have you here.
Yes, thank you. That's what we do for a living. That's what we do for a living. Yes.
Exactly. You proved your point. You proved that you're good at what you do. I love that. But now, okay, let's get right into it. You are twin sisters, Black women, moms, running a digital marketing business, most often dominated by men. I mean, this must have been the easy road, right? Oh, gosh. But seriously, as I thought about it, I was thinking that, us entrepreneurs by nature are always dealing with our inner obstacles to begin with, like our mindsets, our limited thinking. But you're also dealing with all these societal obstacles, being women, Black women, moms. And I'm just kind of curious, how has that felt to you? Like, have you felt like you had to overcome the obstacles in front of you before you could deal with the obstacles in you? Or that's give me insights as a middle-aged, white guy. I want to understand, like, how must that feel like you have to, fight your way through all these exterior obstacles before you even get to the stuff that the rest of us are already dealing with.
Yeah, it's crazy that we're in 2020 and we still have to deal with this, but I feel like we are progressing, just maybe at a slower rate than we hope to. But it has been a challenge. I would say this, like, I'm doing me and Donna we're gonna sound the same on the podcast. I'm just gonna say I'm doing and I've been like in entrepreneurship for the past 5 years full time. So once I started grad school, I found out I was pregnant with my son. I was like, okay, I'm not going back to anybody's office. This is it, right? Mm-hmm. And within that journey, like even with being an educated woman with a master's degree, and having all these accolades and internships and experience that I've had, I feel like there was still a challenge for me. And one of the reasons why I kind of really me and Donna decided to come into business together and start TG&D Consulting is because with all the different accolades that we have, it was like the doors weren't opening for us. Mm-hmm. They were not opening. So it was just like, we had the conversation and we were just frustrated. We were just like, what are we doing wrong? Like, what is it? And we were like, since no one wants to open the door for us, we're going to open the door for ourselves. Yeah. But within the process of like trying to like get ourselves out there, as far as, young Black women, because we started this business 5 years ago. We're 30 years old, 25. So not only are we Black women, but we're young. I feel like a lot of the odds were like against us because they may think that we don't have the expertise that we really need to have in order to be business owners. Like, who are these young Black girls thinking they can tell me what to do or how to run my brand or business? I'm the experienced one and I'm the thought leader. And I just realized, like, throughout the journey of entrepreneurship and me providing freelance work to different people, I really had to work 10 times harder to prove that I know what I'm talking about, right? And
Mm-hmm.
there has been experiences to where I even would say something as a young Black woman, and then an older Black woman that may have more experience than me, or a woman of a different race will say the same exact thing I said, but I wasn't heard. The other woman was. So there has been a lot of different stories, man, a lot of different experiences to where I'm like, I don't understand why it's still this hard today. And Donna, I don't know if you want to give one of your stories because you've been
Yeah,
in corporate for a minute.
yeah. So before coming into the business full time, and it's been, I can't believe it's about to be a year. So April the 15th will be a full year of entrepreneurship full time, which I'm excited about. But prior to that, I was in corporate. I was a trainer specialist. So I experienced that a lot, trying to climb up the corporate ladder. As you said, Dwayna, you can be in a meeting and you can say something and it's like, wait, someone else said it, and it's like, wait, I just said that. But for me being a Black woman, entrepreneur, a mom, all that, I'm also a vocal woman as well. So with that,
You've had to be.
yes,
Yes.
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 But the thing with that too, Jeff, it's like it's hard for Black women because we have to find a fine line, because if we're
It
too
is.
vocal, then we have that attitude.
Mhm.
Or we always have an issue with something. So it's like trying to find that balance. But I think too, with the experiences that we've been through, it's given us the ability to know how to handle those conversations. I think too, before we were able to tackle those like obstacles externally, we had to do some work deep
Inner
in, knowing
work.
that, okay, like mindset shift, knowing like this is not going to be easy. So get the mental together first, because this is what you're going to come
And
across.
that's what I was curious about, because I said, so you know, it's, I was thinking you had to deal with, when you have to deal with so many exterior factors, I was wondering, how do you even begin to deal with what we all deal with inside, you know, like our limited
Mindset.
thinking. But you're actually saying it was kind of the other way around. Like you probably have lived your whole life in a way that you've had to mentally prepare yourself for what you're going into, because you kind of, unfortunately, you know, the obstacles coming to you. It's, you know, in a roundabout way, you may or may not know this, but a lot of professional speakers are introverts, and it makes perfect sense, oddly enough. And as an introvert who has learned to kind of be out in the world in an extroverted sort of way, I've always thought, you know, it makes good sense, because the fact of the matter is, when you're an introvert, or you're somewhat, you know, you're a woman, or you're of color, we've figured out how to be in the world in uncomfortable ways to begin with.
Yes.
Right. So as an introvert, I'm used to being uncomfortable in almost every situation I'm in anyway. So being on stage isn't really much different. Right. So there's all that inner prep work you've done.
Yeah, and when it comes to mindset, just like being resilient, I think that is like one of the things that we really had to learn.
100%. I always said,
Yes.
if I had a fourth child, I was going to name him or her resilient.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about stigmas. You know, I recently posted something on social about, I just simply asked a simple question, like, what do you think when you see the term lifestyle business? And I kind of thought I knew what I was getting myself into, but it was a little bit more intense than I even thought. So I have my own opinion about lifestyle business, but I wonder if you can tell, like, because I think there's a stigma to it. I'm kind of curious, what do you think of when you think of the term lifestyle business?
Yeah, for me, I think of anything that helps me get through life on a day to day, like any utilize. If it's this cup right here that I use to drink my water every day, I consider that brand or company that I'm buying that from a lifestyle business. If it's something essential that I need to use as far as like a journal, you know, that's lifestyle for me. Anything that allows me to get through my day to day and to progress in life, I would consider it as a lifestyle business.
Donna, what's your thought on that?
Yeah, I will piggyback on Dwayna, but also too, when thinking lifestyle, things that more so things that we need for like self-care to live the proper life. So thinking more of beauty brands, food, the different food restaurants, food chains. It's kind of lifestyle too, because okay, we gotta eat, right? How do you incorporate that into your day-to-day life? So pretty much any product that you
But
can incorporate into your
as
day-to-day life.
mompreneurs, with
Yes.
a digital agency, do you consider yourselves a lifestyle business?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We are a lifestyle business, because now, well, since prior to COVID, entrepreneurship was a thing, right? But after COVID, it's become like really, it's become like something that all moms are trying to do. Like moms all over the world, no matter if they're black, white, they have to pivot with the life change. With COVID, it's like it was like a huge life change for everyone. So I think being a mom is a lifestyle. That's a lifestyle in itself.
Yeah.
100%. And this is what I don't understand. Like there is a stigma about lifestyle business, and I know I've encountered people say, well, if you're a lifestyle business, it's not serious. You're just have this little hobby you turn into a business. And somebody commented on this social media thread that it's even more so with women, right? Because it's a way of, oh, it's just a lifestyle business, putting it down. I'm looking at and thinking, first of all, if a lifestyle business, the way I define it is it's a business you create to create the lifestyle you want. Right. And I had a very well-known business book author say to me once that, anybody that's building a business and not intending to sell it isn't serious. And if you're just building a business to support your lifestyle, you've just created a job for yourself. And he said it in such a derogatory way. I'm left thinking, and what's wrong with that? Like, and to Donna, to your point, that is the trend after COVID. Like people are building businesses to create the lifestyle they want.
Yes.
Right. But there is a stigma to it. Do you agree? I mean, have you felt it? Had anybody felt like they pushed you down or implied that you're less serious because you're building a business as a mompreneur that is helping you live your life?
Yeah, I would say too, like for me, like even sometimes I had to like make it clear to my husband at first. Like even he didn't fully get it at first. He's my spouse, right? One of my biggest supporters. But it's like what I mean by that is I'm at home all day, right? And he's like, okay, well, why do you do this or that? And it's like, wait, I'm working, I'm taking care of this baby, I'm doing this, I'm cleaning, working. It's like the days go by so quick, and he didn't realize it until he actually literally had to pay attention to my day to day and what I was doing. And once he really understood, okay, like I got to step in a little bit more to help my wife out because this is serious. This is a real business.
Donna, to that point, like you can make money from a lifestyle business. Like you can make serious money. And utilizing the digital space. Like that's where we're at these days. Everybody's online, the digital space. Like I would not knock that down. You have 6-figure businesses, multimillionaires, like they're making and thriving their business and careers through having a lifestyle business.
Yeah. And something I've been saying since the social media post was kind of out there is that terms need to change. I understand that there was a time when lifestyle business may have implied, a hobby turned into a business, nothing serious, but terms need to change in order to support the way life is today. And I think what we're seeing with this massive number of people, the great resignation, leaving their corporate jobs, starting their own businesses, we're seeing people choose lifestyle over compromise. And right. So how about mompreneur, right? Let's add that added element to it. Now you're saying, this is what I think your big mission here, and my dream as I watch the two of you, is that you're building out a business that has the potential to change the term mompreneur from a stigma to an understanding. So is that part of the mission of what you're trying to do as well?
Absolutely. We want to tell other moms that they can do it, right? So I feel like when it comes to you being a woman and you want to be career driven and you want to have like goals and things and aspirations and create legacies, people want to tell you that you can't do it, right? You can't do it all. You can't be a mom and be an active parent or a mom in your child's life. You can't be a mom and make karate practice at 3 p.m. on the afternoon on the weekday. And it's like, you can create that lifestyle, and you can create work to work for you. So that way you can incorporate things that you really want to do in life. I think too, with mentioning COVID, Donna, we realize life is too short. Life is too short, and our mindset and our mental is very important. Why are we wasting time working at endless jobs, going into the office 9 to 5, places that we really don't want to be, or they could even care less if we were there? Like, I mean, I've heard so many stories about people, getting sick and, needing to take the time off from work. And then when they get back into the office, it's like nobody even checked on them when they was out with COVID, right? Or even when people are passing, it's like they're replaced. you pass and then somebody else is in your seat, right? And I think COVID really set the tone for us. It really has.
Yeah, it's a
It
resetting of
did.
values, and then I've always said, I mean, I've been in business over 37 years, and having been through a number of different crises in the world, I've said, it speeds up what was coming anyway, and it allows people the
Hmm.
opportunity to completely reset their values, and people are resetting
Yeah.
their values. I just, the term mompreneur again has always been taken so lightly. I think it's like lifestyle business. I think it's time to use the term in a way that it represents the true power of it. It's the
Hmm.
true mompreneur power of how much you're juggling, which is also why, by the way, I mean, part of my mission is to change the term of self-employed. So I'm in the beginning of my book, I go through the whole litany of terms of entrepreneur, solopreneur, small business, the different things we call ourselves, and make a strong case as to why we should call ourselves self-employed, because it not only describes our business model, it also describes the lifestyle. You know
Mhm.
nothing
Yeah.
about somebody's lifestyle when you say they say they're an entrepreneur or they're a small business. When you say you're self-employed, it says
Hmm.
something about who you are. It even says something about your character, and it describes your business model and your lifestyle. But I have two conflicting video images in my head. I don't know if you've seen either of these videos, but I tell you, it's worth looking them up on YouTube. The one that a lot of us saw was the dad working. It was at the beginning of the pandemic. He's working at his desk, and the child comes in through the door
Yes,
down,
I
right?
saw.
The wife is like crawling on her knees, trying to get the kid out of the room.
uh,
And yeah, so there's that. And then the other image video that a lot of people didn't see was the singer Alanis Morissette was on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon.
Hmm.
Live performance. She's recording in a studio. It looked like probably a home studio. And she's singing, ironically, a song about her kids. Her daughter comes into the studio. She seamlessly, while singing, scooped up her daughter, held her daughter. Her daughter's covering her ears because she doesn't want to hear her mom singing so loud. And Alanis just went on seamlessly, like you would have no idea. It is the
Yes.
most beautiful image of a mompreneur, because the dad was flustered trying to figure out how to get the kid out of the room. The mom is like, this is life.
I'm
And just
Yes.
telling
kept on going.
you.
We talk about that all the time. Me and Dwayna talk about that all the time. Literally, I was on a phone call with a client yesterday, and she calls me. And mind you, she didn't know that when I answered, my son was literally on my shoulders. Like, literally, I'm trying to
That's
work on my
awesome.
computer. But yesterday was Thursday. He's like, "No, I've had enough of you this week. You're gonna give me some attention." So literally, when I answer the phone, the client's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead." The whole time, my son's on my shoulders, and he was on my side. It was like literally like, this is what we
Yeah.
do, and it's like mompreneurs, we
We
multitask.
mastered
We've
it.
mastered it.
Yeah.
We
Well,
mastered it.
and that's isn't that part of that's why I'm bringing it up, because I think part of the what we have to change here is, and I get professionalism. I understand putting ourselves forward as a professional, but really, don't we also have to change what the look of professionalism is? I mean, isn't it
We
really just
do.
about getting the job done? If you can
Getting
get
the
your
job
job
done.
Getting the job done. If you can get the job done with your child on your shoulders, or Alanis Morissette can get the job done singing a song on live TV, holding her daughter. I mean, isn't that? I think we really need to put some solid effort into
Mm-hmm.
changing the perception of professionalism, almost for that dad's benefit. I'm not blasting that dad, but I'm thinking about the unnecessary pressure there was on him to feel like he had to uphold a professional image such that the image came
Mm-hmm.
before the well-being of his child.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
As a father
Because
myself, I'd like to think I would have scooped that kid up too. I would have liked
Mm-hmm.
to think that I would, but you wonder sometimes, how do we behave when we're interrupted by our lives when we're running our businesses? And I think we need to rethink what that looks like.
well, you
We
know
do.
what? Prior to having children, I never paid attention to the moms at the office or the parents at the office. And now that I have a child, I'm like, how in the world do you work full time in an office? You got all these different days that you got teacher work days, you have school, all these different days that the kids are out, right? And then you have summer, and then you have spring break, and then you have doctor's appointments, and then you have everything else
Mm-hmm.
that happens in life. You got hair appointments. How, if you're at the office from 9 to 5, how are you getting the stuff done at home? How
Yeah.
are you like?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's honestly, I made a very strong point when working with my publisher that my book was going to be called the self-employed life. It could have been called, how to be successfully self-employed. That was actually one of the titles on the table. And I was like, but the whole point of being self-employed is that it's a lifestyle, that it's all interwoven, that we don't just lock the door at the office and go home. Like, it's always with us back and forth, life and work, work and life. So to me, it was critically important that we refer to it as the self-employed life. Now,
I
as
love that.
mompreneur, right, and as mompreneurs, I'm sure that family, you kind of live with the values of family first. But let's talk about what that actually looks like, right? Because as business owners and parents, we're often faced with real situations where we have to choose,
Yeah.
right? And we want to live by the values of family first. So I'm kind of curious for each of you, how do you literally handle the situation when you have a client you're responsible for and you have an issue with at home that you have to take care of? How do you handle that?
Yeah. So for us, and well, I'm going to speak for me first. So I would say communication is key when it comes to being a mompreneur, because especially when you're service based mompreneur, you have to, like, client work has to be done or bills aren't paid, right? You don't, if you're not getting clients their deliverables on time, or when you say so, I mean, it could possibly end in the end of a contract, right? So for me, communication is super big. I'm blessed to have a business partner, so we help each other with that, right? When some days we're struggling, but for me, like, my son's still at home all day, so I'll have to split my day up. So in the morning, I'm trying to get up a little bit earlier. It's a little harder with not having a son on schedule, but try to get up a little bit earlier, and I literally set my schedule, and I mean, my son has to eat. So when he wakes up, I have to make sure I set that time to make sure I feed him. And sometimes I might have my laptop as I'm cooking, but for the most part, I try to split my day up to make sure that my son's getting the attention that he needs. But it also helps me too. It's very it's part of my self-care too when I'm actually taking breaks, spending time with my child, because it kind of fuels me up as well, and it reminds me what I'm doing it for.
Yeah. I want to talk about a little bit more the communication piece, because I think you're spot on. And I think it's something a lot of business owners overlook is communicate your truth to your clients, right? It's one of the ways that, one of the ways that there's that kind of professional facade needs to be broken down a little bit. And hey, some people understand and some people won't, but I will always stand by the fact that your ideal clients, the people you want to work with, support you and want to see you successful and will understand. And I, and yes, we're talking about mompreneurs. I was a single father for a number of years of my 3 kids. And I kind of noticed that there was one of them was always vomiting on a Tuesday. And it was always on a Tuesday. And I think that was because I didn't work at the time of my life. I didn't work on Mondays. So Mondays was like a day I was hands-on with the kids where I was dragging them everywhere. And I think on Tuesdays, they just got sick from being dragged everywhere, or perhaps they, maybe I'd like to think maybe there's a little bit of missing me. So it was kind of like their way of getting sick at school to kind of call me back, especially in a divorced family. But it was so predictable that my team and I got to the point that when clients scheduled things on Tuesdays, we let them know that, hey, on Tuesdays, for whatever reason, Jeffrey's kids have a high rate of needing him, and he's always having to pick up somebody from school. So just know ahead of time that we may have to reschedule.
Right.
Let's go for it. Right. So, and if that didn't work for them, say, well, then pick an appointment on a Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Right. If they weren't willing to be the type of person, I think, Donna, what you said is so key, that when we are a parentpreneur, mompreneur, dadpreneur, I think it's really key to communicate to your clients who you serve that you're going to get the job done. It just may not look quite as neatly packaged as we might.
Right. And another thing, Jeff, another thing that we just started to do too is, like, with the overly communicating, but also just setting the schedule that works for us. So certain days we don't even have availability for calls. And it's just like, sometimes if clients can't it can't work into our client schedule, then we'll work something out to where we can still get on that call with them so we can honor our contract. However, we set days to where it's like we don't do calls on these days. And these are the days that we know are going to be probably very busy, that we need to dedicate to our child. So these time frames is not going to work for us. So that's one of the ways that we really have grown as a business and kind of learned, like, the boundaries thing is really going to be key, because when we first started, I was just like, I'm like here for everything, here for everybody. I'll be on this call, I'll be on that call, and like I started to experience burnout.
Yeah. And I think it's even more important in today's Zoom world, right? We're talking
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
I call them no shower
I'm
days.
zoomed out.
Like, there's a day where you don't have to shower because you're not even going to be on Zoom. You don't have to
Yeah.
look good. Like the no shower days are so treasured, right? And you actually get so much more done to like dig in and get a lot done.
Yes.
And I treasure that extra 40 minutes it takes to make all this look like this.
Yeah.
It's, to actually get that 40 minutes back, that's 40 minutes of valuable time that you're probably are, working on your deliverables. Dwayna, I was reading an article where you were interviewed and you said something I want to kind of dig in a little bit here, that you said that when you shifted your mindset from, I hope I can run a successful business, to I can have a successful business, that was a life-changing mindset shift for you. Tell me more.
Yes. So like, I mean, going through the webs and the flows of like entrepreneurship is very interesting. And I can say that when I decided to make the decision to be an entrepreneur, I did not know what I was getting into. I knew that I wanted to run a business. I knew that I wanted to be my own boss. I knew that I wanted to be accountable for myself and not have anyone kind of like give me that accountability or direction, but I just did not understand what that all took, right? And I'm like, I think I could do it. I think I could do it, right? I think I can run a successful business. I've been doing this freelance work. I've been office manager. I had running somebody else's business at their office. I can do this, right? And it's like eventually after that, like it came to a place where I was just like, I hope I can do this, because I started to doubt myself. That self-doubt is, oh my goodness, that self-doubt will creep in your journey of entrepreneurship, mompreneurship, especially mompreneurship. And I'm just like, that self-doubt started to creep in, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know. I hope I can.
Self-doubt probably enhanced by things you're hearing from other people, right? I mean, did it feel like other people were questioning the possibility of even being able to do it? Or where, aside from the self-doubt we have within ourselves, were there outside influences increasing that doubt?
I think one of the things that I didn't realize in entrepreneurship too is just like when I started a business, I was just like, okay, I have all these people that I know, that I can turn to, that can kind of help me through. And I realized like some of those people that you think are there for you is not really, right? And then I started to get sometimes some of these feelings that they didn't quite believe that I can do it, right? It's like I can do all these great things for their company, or I can do all these great things for, as a person that's in office, but not on my own. And I think too, like just being a young Black woman, as we mentioned earlier, I think that was one of the things that allowed self-doubt to really creep in. And it's like we live our lives as we grow up, and we kind of like create this persona that we'll not even create a persona. We have to grow up as Black women and kind of know what we are going to walk through this world with, right? But I think too, it really hit me and kind of tricked me once I really got deep into the entrepreneurship, and I'm just like, that's when the hope came in. It's like, I hope I can do it. And then after like really kind of going through some mental shifts, picking up a mentor, taking some time back to reset, I realized like, Dwayna, what are you afraid of? Like, it's not you hope you can do it, is you can do it. And you can do it. And now look at us now. We are doing it.
And Donna, was there a moment, Donna, where you shifted from, in this case, kind of hope to can? Like, was there a moment of kind of digging in a little? And I know experience a little different. You were coming from corporate. You've been in the agency now for a year, but is there, because I can kind of feel that and remember that too. And it's iterative too. It's not just one time. It's just the shift of an idea that you're kind of laying in the land of hope. And hope is a great thing, but maybe not so much when it comes to building a business. Like there has to be this like going from hope to, oh, I got this. And do you recall feeling that way as well?
I would say when I was in the mindset of I hope I can do this, it prolonged me from leaving corporate. Like literally, Dwayna can tell you, like I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave in a couple months. I need a few.
Oh my goodness, yes. I was like, girl,
because I was hoping I can do it. the day that I said, no, I'm going to do this, I will do this, I put in my notice.
Awesome.
And here we are. So I think too, kind of piggybacking off of what you said, Dwayna, I think too, our paradigms, the way we grow up, our paradigms, the things we experience in life also have a lot to do with self-doubt and negative self-talk, especially like in the Black community, for sure. And even with, as Dwayna mentioned, with being a mom, like especially a new mom, you might think, okay, I'm not going to be able to breastfeed my baby, right? Or I'm not going to be able to do this. And it's like, no, you can do it. You just got to put your mind to it. And I think with everything all the obstacles that we come across as women, and life experiences, I think that plays a part in the self-doubt, but that mindset shift had to happen in order for us to grow and scale this business. So,
that negative self-talk is something real right there. It's something real.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I can recommend one of the best book on the topic to me, written by a good friend of mine, Denise Jacobs, and the book is Banish Your Inner Critic. And I think I'll always give Denise a shout out on that, because I think it's the best book on the topic of banishing that inner critic. So, the interesting thing is now you've kind of flipped the tables, if you will, while you're still dealing with all your own obstacles, exterior, interior, but now you are, as an agency, working with women and mompreneurs through their branding and their image. And I'm kind of curious, like, what do you find you most have to bring out of them? I mean, I understand branding as a branding consultant myself, that you're kind of diving and digging like for their truth or what's inside of them to bring that out. What do you find you're digging for? Like, how are they holding back, and what are you digging for so you can bring out their best?
Go ahead, Donna. Go ahead.
Their authentic personality, like that, because that's how people connect. And if you're selling a product or a service and people don't know who you truly are, what you represent as a brand, they're not going to buy into it.
Yeah. So like Donna said, your true authentic self. And then another thing that we're really big on is sharing your story, your brand story of like your why you're in it, and doing the business that you're doing today is important for us to share your story and your journey of how you got to where you are today. I can think about like a lot of times when I would get people featured on local news stations in different cities, and one of the things that really stuck out in the pitches that we sent was the story behind why they decided to do what they did. And a lot of times it was because they were once in those shoes, right? And they overcame, and they got the tools and the tips and the know-how on how to fix whatever the issue and the problem was that they wanted to solve. And now they are here as living proof and showing that they can solve the problem for you too. And a lot of times we want to know those stories.
Yeah. It's one of the things that's always been interesting to me as a coach is how often people are moved by feeling like you gave them permission. For me, the feedback I get all the time, people will say, I feel like you gave me permission to be in business in a way that in my gut I've always wanted to, but I thought I had to do business differently, whether it's their marketing, their sales, and that's something I do focus on, because most of us self-employed, particularly heart-centered, purpose-driven entrepreneurs, we're kind of creeped out by the way other people do business. And we've been looking for years. And so that's kind of what I try to deliver is like, well, there is a way of being, like in my book, the heart of the book and also the heart of the curriculum at the Self-Employed Business Institute is what I refer to as hug marketing. Right. So it's my adaptation of traditional marketing, but done in a way that feels good for self-employed business owners. And I would imagine then in your process of actually working with mompreneur clients, like, do you have to kind of get them to the point where they realize they have permission to be a mom and an entrepreneur? Like, do you see in them some of the same fears that you may have had? Like, I have to hide that part of me. Like, I don't want my family things to mesh over into my business. I mean, is there a relief? Do you see a relief when you're telling them, oh, be your authentic self, like let the mom part come in? Is that something you have to work them through?
That's a great question. And I feel like for the most part, when we started working in entrepreneurship and started our company, we started with businesses that had just started, right? And they're just getting off the ground. And I would say with those types of businesses, yes, we do have to kind of like give them permission to show up, to be seen, to show their true story, their authentic self. But I feel like as we progress and grow, we're starting to work with women who are kind of a little bit more well versed into their business. They have somewhat of a following, and they are really showcasing their thought leadership in different ways outside of maybe it was not technically digital in the digital space, but more so on stages and speaking, and through networking. And with those women, they pretty much already have the mindset that, okay, I need to give myself, well, I need to have permission, or I give myself permission in order to show up. But I think it's the ways to show up is what they lack. It's like they know they need to show up, and they give themselves permission to share these stories, but they don't know exactly how to market that and how to push that out, or where.
Yeah. So what are the dreams for you now? Like, aside, I mean, obviously your dream is to build this business, but what are your dreams now for yourself and for your business?
Yeah, our dreams are to help women, with our passions, of course, help women expand and scale their businesses. Like we have our mompreneurship, our lifestyle brand. We want women to know you can do this, and we're going to help you do it, because it takes a village. Just like it takes a village to raise your kids, as a mompreneur, it's going to take a village to scale your business. So we want women to know, like, okay, we are your team. We are here to do things off your list, so we can see your business thrive and grow. So you can have more time to spend with your children, or to do daily things in the house, or to spend time with your family, or maybe on an extra date with your husband or something. So yeah.
Awesome. Dwayna, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think, and one of the things that we really want to hone in and let women know is that, like, and this is from my experience myself. It's like I have a master's degree, right? It's like we go to school to get these educations. We have $1,000 in student loans, and then we're in this mindset, or push to say we need to be in corporate office. We need to be climbing up this corporate ladder. We need to be doing these things and utilizing our master's degree and paying back these student loans, whatever the situation is, right? And it's like a lot of times that goes towards the corporate life. Whether you're a doctor, right? You get a doctorate degree, or a lawyer, you get your law degree, and now you need to be working at the top agency law firm. And I've worked with, and I have like people in my network all the time who has a law degree, and instead of working at that top law firm that they always dreamed of, decided to create their own thing and become a coach, right? And to teach other Black women that they can still go to law school, teaching them different ways on how to navigate through law school, but they literally are not even fully utilizing that degree. In some way they are, right? Because they're giving back to the community. But I really want women to know that it's okay for your life to shift and to change, and for you to really inspire to be something different than that stigma or that stereotype that is already put out there for us to be. Like, it's okay to shift when you create a family, or when you become a mom, it's okay to make that shift and to do something else that you're really passionate about, and you can still be great at it.
Yeah, there are multiple ways of using that education. Or your example is great, because actually I know a couple of women that after having a family became kind of private law firms. Instead, they left the big firm so that they could also be in support of their children, and they just started their own law practice at home and are able to do the type of work that they like. So I love the point that you're allowed to shift.
Yeah, I'll mentor one of our mentors in PR, Jen. She literally her story is she has a law degree. She does PR now. She does PR, but she went to school. She had a law degree. She's working at a law firm, working 80 hours a week, losing time with her children. And she was just like, this is not life, right? It's like we have this dream that I want to make all this money, buku money at a top law firm, but she was just like, this, I can do this with something else. Right. And she decided to shift and become a huge PR agency for herself.
And even if it's at a sacrifice of the potential money or the current money, even if it is having the lifestyle, goes right back to where we started, like having the lifestyle you want, and having created the business to build the lifestyle that you dream of, there is no price tag for that.
There
No
is
price
not.
tag.
That is the point. Awesome. So, oh my gosh, so fantastic. I love chatting to you. So we're going to go into the rapid round. I'll give each of you a chance to kind of answer each of these questions real quick. It's around the acronym of SELF. The S stands for sustainability. Donna, in each case, we'll start with Donna. We'll go to Dwayna. So
Okay.
the S stands for sustainability. What's one daily habit you have that sustains you?
Meditation. Like literally, if I do not get up and meditate in the morning or throughout my day, like Dwayna can tell you, I'm like all over the place. I'm like, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this. This needs to be done. So one thing I incorporated was meditating. It sustains me. It keeps my mental going.
Awesome. And Dwayna.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to go with the good old coffee. So that sustains me on a day to day. It is crazy because my husband said all the time, like, you have to stop, you have to cut back with this coffee. But I mean, like a great cup of coffee to start off my day. It allows me to get my day going, and it kind of it pushes me.
It's a ritual. I love
yes.
it. Yep. The E in self stands for elevate. What's one thing you would suggest that we do to elevate our business?
Just flow. I would say just flow. One thing I learned is like thinking about all the things that you have to do. Like you'll get to the point where you're thinking about all the things you have to do, nothing gets done. So you're not growing, you're not scaling. So I would say I had to learn to just flow and just be in the state of being in order to really see that elevation and growth within myself as a mompreneur.
Awesome. And Dwayna.
Yeah, I think productivity, and it's a meme that I saw the other day that was really good. And to be productive, I feel like in order to elevate, you have to be productive. However, being productive could look like resting. It can look like you taking days off. It can look like you going on vacation. I think productivity is a way that you're going to elevate, but man, productivity can look so different to so many different people. And one way that you can do that is by resting, and recharging and resetting. So
I'm a big fan of the Nappuccino. I don't know if you've ever heard of this strategy.
Yeah, we haven't heard of Nappuccinos, but we had some clients who were coaches, and they taught us about the nap.
Nappuccino is, Dwayna's right up your alley with the coffee. It takes 25 minutes for coffee to hit your bloodstream, or the caffeine to hit your bloodstream. So the idea is you drink an espresso or something, high dose of caffeine, lay down, take a good 18-minute nap, because it's going to be 25 minutes later that caffeine's going to be ready to go. Yeah, so it's literally a strategy to like how to nap efficiently.
Nappuccino, I love it.
Nappuccino. All right, so the L in self stands for let's go. What's one action step you would suggest the folks listening in can do today?
Yes, so I would say kind of piggybacking on being productive, put systems in place. You have to have systems in place in order to be productive. You have to have systems in place. Right now, we use systems like Asana, Dubsado for our client management systems. So I would say have systems in place so that way you can run as an efficient business.
Yep. Awesome. Dwayna?
I would say be seen. Let's go and be seen. Like, let's go and get out there and get on these lives. Let's go and get on these reels. Let's go and get on these videos.
Be seen. I love it.
Yes. Utilize your digital space and showcase your thought leadership. So go ahead and be seen.
I love it. And the F in self stands for facing a challenge. With all that you've accomplished, what's one challenge you still face?
Challenge that I still face. I'm still working on working on complete mindfulness. I'm still, because some days is harder than others, and I'm entrepreneurship, mompreneurship. There's high highs, there's low lows. So just keeping that balance of knowing like, okay, Donna's going to be okay. So sometimes I got to roll myself back. Sometimes I go in my closet and hide in my little corner, cry it out and get back to it. But just knowing that that there's going to be days where everything's not going to go as planned, and that's okay.
Dwayna?
Mine is shutting down. Oh my goodness. I have a funny story around this, but shutting down, it means like closing the laptop, turning off the phone, shutting down from work. So I take my son to Taekwondo on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And typically it's at 4:00. I pick him up from school and then take him to Taekwondo. And typically I'm bringing my laptop or having my phone to check emails or respond, or maybe even taking some phone calls outside while he's inside and Taekwondo. And literally just this past month, like I pull out my laptop and he said, Mommy, I mean, class is going. Class is full in action. Parents, everybody's parents is in there. And he's literally singling me out because he see me open my laptop. And
Good for him.
I was like, oh my goodness, no. I was like, okay, let me go ahead and close it. But like I feel like he's allowing me to him and my husband, and just life in general. I just feel like, but my son is really showing me like, Mommy, go ahead and stop working.
Time to shut down. I love it.
He is 4. He's 4 years old, and he's teaching me that.
They always do. These kids are great teachers. To tell us what's the best way to find out about what you're up to and about your agency.
Yeah, so you guys can check us out on Instagram and Facebook, PG&E Consulting. You can also visit our website. That's the best place first, www.pgandconsulting.com. And we're on Twitter too, but we don't really utilize Twitter. So we will say Instagram, Facebook. You can see us. And then you can check out our website to see what we're up to.
Fantastic. Well, we'll make sure that all your links are also available in our show notes at jeffreyshaw.com/podcast. We'll make sure the links are there as well, so that everybody can go grab that. And I thank you both very much for being here and for really your mission of changing any stigma that might lie around the idea of being a mompreneur. We are heading towards a future where this is reality. This is what it's going to look like. I was asked not too long ago about what I felt like the ideal work life looked like. And I said, it's going to look a lot more like what we have known self-employment to look like all along, where it is an integrated life. We're going to migrate from work to home. Maybe you're going to work, put in a few hours, then you're going to go pick up a kid from school, bring the kid to Taekwondo, and then go back and work. And there's nothing wrong with that. We have lived for so long with this false notion of boundaries and work hours and places we're supposed to work. We can work anywhere at any time in today's world. And this offers the opportunity where, being a mompreneur is the normal way of doing business. So I congratulate you on your mission to make that a reality for so many moms.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you for having us. And I congratulate you, Datpreneur. I mean, when you think about, that they're like always at the office, all the ones always working, right? And it's like, it's even important for dads too, because you can be present and be there and be active for your child. Like
you should be.
We should, yes. So congratulations to you as well.
Thank you. Well, thank you both very much for joining us. And remember, you might be in business for yourself, but you're not in business by yourself. Be your best self, be proud, and keep changing the world.